everybody, this is Jyoti Mayekar. I'm teaching nuclear physics and this is lecture 6. So today what we are going to talk about is nuclear stability. Light elements like helium, carbon, oxygen, they are stable elements. Transition elements, as you can see in the periodic table, the pink ones, they are the transition elements. Transition elements are also found to have higher stability. Elements with mass number beyond 230, they are found to be radioactive in nature. Radioactive in the sense they will emit alpha, beta or gamma rays, and they are found to be unstable, and they also undergo spontaneous disintegration. Some heavy nuclides, they are found to undergo spontaneous fission reaction. So in case of fission, what happens, the heavy nucleus splits into two masses which will be comparable to each other. Out of 1000 nuclides, 25% are stable elements. Around 284 stable nuclides are known till date and are divided into 83 elements. In these 20 elements, there are single spaces. Single spaces in the sense they don't have isotopes, and others they either have two or more isotopes. What is isotope? Isotopes are basically they are elements with same number of protons but with different atomic mass number. Like hydrogen, it has isotopes deuterium, tritium. Yeah, where number of proton it is same 1, but number of atomic mass number varies 2 and 3. Now stability on the basis of even and odd number of protons and neutrons. So it is found that stability of nucleus, it depends upon whether the atomic number it is even, whether the atomic number is odd, whether the number of protons it is odd or even, that way. So it is found that nuclei with even Z, that means protons, number of protons it is even. So nuclei with even number of protons in even number of neutrons, they are found to be stable, and this group has about 60% of the total number of stable isotopes. Light elements with, even if they have odd number of protons and odd number of neutrons, they are found to be stable as they have nearly equal number of protons and neutrons. And example for this is hydrogen, lithium, beryllium and nitrogen. You can check they have odd number of proton. How you will calculate neutron number? Neutron number, it is atomic mass number minus atomic number. So 14 minus 7, that is number of neutrons will be 7 in case of nitrogen. 10 minus 5, so number of neutrons in beryllium will be 5. So they have odd number of protons, odd number of neutrons, still they are stable. Okay. Number of elements with even Z and odd N, or vice versa, that means odd Z and even N, they are almost equal and are about 20% of the total. Now this is called a Seeger chart. This is basically a plot of number of neutrons versus the number of protons for the stable nuclides of different elements. So here it includes all stable as well as unstable nuclei. Now this line, this is a straight line which is n equals to z line, but it is found that as the atomic mass number increases, this line it moves towards upper side. Nucleides with even Z are much numerous. That means nuclei with even number of protons, they are much numerous than those of protons odd. Also this is true for nucleides having even number of atomic mass number and then those of odd atomic mass number. For atomic number or for protons less than 20, the stability line, it is a straight line. That means it will obey n equals to z, or you can say n into z equals to 1. That is, the stability line has equal inclination about n and z axis. That means number of neutrons, it is equals to number of protons. Greater stability means minimum energy. For the heavier nuclides in the sense if Z atomic number it is greater than 20, the curve bends in the direction of, see, the curve bends in the direction of n greater than Z, or it is steeper at higher Z. In other words, the number of neutrons are little higher than the number of protons. So for lighter elements, number of neutrons it is equals to number of protons, and as the atomic mass number increases, number of neutrons increases. Therefore, n upon z, or you can say neutron to proton ratio, it is more than 1. As z is higher, the electrostatic Coulomb repulsive force is higher. To compensate this, the number of neutrons must be increased for stability. So when, if you will take a nucleus with higher number of protons, so these protons, they will start repelling each other. There will be a higher Coulomb repulsive force, and so as to reduce that force, we will have to do, we will have to increase the number of neutrons, and that is how for higher Z, number of neutrons are more for increasing stability. As atomic number Z increases, the stability curve departs more and more from straight line. Only heavy nuclei with A greater than 200, or in other words you can say Z greater than 83, they undergo alpha decay. So what happens in case of alpha decay? The parent nucleus, it emits alpha particle. What is alpha particle? Alpha particle, it is helium nucleus. So helium has charge 2 and mass number 4. So when a parent nucleus, it will emit alpha particle, daughter nucleus will be produced which will have charge less than 2 and mass number less than 4 units. According to neutrino theory of beta decay, a beta particle and a neutrino are created and are simultaneously emitted. So, when the nucleon shifts from neutron quantum state to proton quantum state, electron and antineutrino are ejected out. That is, in negative beta decay, proportion of a neutron reduces and the nucleus becomes beta active. So in case of negative, you can see this diagram. If I consider a parent nucleus, if it emits negative beta decay, that means it is emitting electron. Beta particle, it is nothing but electron. So when a nucleus, it emits beta particle, you will get an electron and antineutrino, and along with that you will get a daughter nucleus. And when it emits positive beta rays, that means it is a positron, so antiparticle of electron. So in that case you will get positron and neutrino. So along, in a case of beta decay, negative beta decay, you will have electron and antineutrino pair, and in case of positive beta decay, you have positron and neutrino pair. Positron emission leads to conversion of nuclear proton into a neutron. A positron, a neutrino that is in positive beta decay, the nucleus becomes beta plus active. The positron emission forms a daughter nucleus of lower atomic number Z. There are two modes of beta radioactivity, like you have beta negative decay and beta positive decay. So that is how this we have. There was a question in my earlier lecture, why electron cannot exist inside the nucleus. This is the reason. We have discussed why it cannot be inside the, why electron cannot exist inside the nucleus. We discussed why it is not inside the nucleus, but we haven't discussed then how come these electrons are found inside the nucleus. So this is the reason that electrons, they are not inside the nucleus, but at the time of emission, either nuclear proton or neutron, it changes its state and emits electron or positron. Apart from this beta positive and beta negative, there is a third mode of beta radioactivity also, which is observed in some lighter nuclides, and that is called as electron capture. So in this process, the nucleus, it captures one electron and it emits neutrino. So thus all unstable nuclei spontaneously get themselves transferred into lighter nuclei by either emission of alpha and beta particles to achieve stability. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.